Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yahushua. It's Yahushua. So got to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well, who teach well, while the apostles and elders of all Israel, whether concepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the occupant pushing the truth and believing the truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, working at the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwath who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Mazai from Jim Messalano, Camp coming at you in the lesson, the truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another daily edification, Lord willing, just be edifying. I title this lesson, North America is the revival Roman Empire. And I was reading Revelation 17, and there's been many lessons done on it. I was reading Revelation 17, and when you get down to verse 10, when it talks about there are seven kings, five are fallen, right? So I'm going to start here in Revelation 17 and 1. It reads, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornications. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having seven heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. It said, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. The angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the seven heads and 10 horns. And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there are seven kings. It say five are fallen, and one is, the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Right? It's in the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seventh and goeth into perdition. Now, when you go to, I got this pulled up. When you go to Revelation 17 in the blue letter, let me show you what they say about the seven kingdoms, the seven kings, right? Because blue letter, like the apostles taught us, the blue letter be spot on some things they off, right? Well, I'm going to show you what they are spot on. So right here, make sure it's sharing. So right here in Revelation 17, they say, talking about the seven kings, right? They say there are also seven kings, five have fallen, one is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. Let me show you what they got for the seven kings, right? See right here, five have fallen, one is, and the other not, and the other has not yet come. This is one of the more difficult passages in the book of Revelation. Some explain these seven kings, five past, one present, and one to come in the succession of the Roman emperors in John's era, right? But there are many historical difficulties with this approach, and it is more likely it is a reference to, listen, it's a five have fallen, refers to five world empires before John's day. Now they got Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo-Persian Empire, and Greece. And that's not what it's talking about, right? This when you read in the book of Daniel, right, chapter 7, when it talks about the four empires of the earth, that was Babylon, Medo-Persian Empire, Greece, and Rome, right? So here, these commentators with David Guzik, he's saying that the five that was fallen is Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo-Persian Empire, and Greece, and that's not off. Because this beast in Revelation 17 is talking about a beast with seven heads and 10 horns. It ain't talking about different, it ain't talking about in Revelation 17, it's not talking about different empires. It's talking about one empire that's joined together as that make the beast system. Okay. So, right, it's a look at this. It say the other has not yet come, refers to one world empire to come, a revival of the Roman Empire. And that's facts. So they off right here about five are fallen, which refers to Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo Persian, and Greece. That's off. Because this beast is talking about the system of Esau Edom, man. Okay? It's talking about this red dragon, man, which is EU, NATO, North America, Babylon the Great. You see right here, it said the other has not yet come, refers to one world empire to come, a revival of the Roman Empire. That's what got me doing this lesson because I was going through this, reading this, and I was like, man, they off on the five have fallen, right? Because those five has fallen is talking about you got Germania Major, Germania Minor, you got Rome, you got the Romans, uh, French, Spanish, and the British, right? That's what it's talking about. And we know North America, Babylon the Great came out of the Britons, Great Britain, right? So the five is fallen. It's talking about Germania Major, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Rome, French, and Spanish, right? That's what it's talking about. Then you had Great Britain. You had Great Britain. Well, America came out of Babylon the Great, which is the revived Roman Empire. They say one is referred to the world empire of John's day, Rome, right? So it says again, the other has not yet come, refers to one world empire to come, a revival of the Roman Empire, right? So I want to show that. Now, let me come back to me and get this. Now, what did Esau say? What did Esau say in Malachi chapter 1? Let me show you this. Read this. Now, see, even they know that it's going to be an empire on the earth, and it's going to be the revival of the Roman Empire. Because it said what? One of the heads of the beast was healed, right? So they was off talking about Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo-Persian Empire, and Greece. No, this system, this revival Roman Empire, talking about is a nation. Are nations coming together under the authority of who? The revived Roman Empire. Meaning it's going to be Esau, Edom in rulership, right? Job 9 and 24. This is a prophecy about Job 9 and 24, right? The earth given to the hand of the wicked. Now, this is what Esau said in Malachi 1 and 4. That's how we know this all links to Esau, Edom, man. See, it's not talking about different beasts. It's not talking about different nations. This is talking about the same nation of people that control the earth, right? Edom. This is Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord, right? They shall build, But I will throw down, and they shall call them the board of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Now, when I read that in Revelations 17, right, how they broke it down wrong about the different nations, but then said this one, let's read again. Let's read again. They said this one empire that's going to rise out of the earth will be the revival Roman Empire, right? Just read it one more time. It say the other has not yet come, refers to one world empire to come, a revival of the Roman Empire, right? Now, I went to Google and I was doing some search because brothers did videos on this a lot. And they was pulling up the different, you know how the buildings got the columns on them, just like how I look in Petra, right? So I pulled this up. I saw this. Let me show you something. Now this is called Greek revival architecture. Let's look at this. You can't make this up, man. This is called Greek revival architecture. Architecture. I can't pronounce the word right. So look, here is images of the Greek revival architecture, right? Look at this. Make sure it's sharing. Look at this. This is in America, and they're gonna show you the ones that's in Rome and Britain and America. Look at this. Why is it called a Greek revival? Because all this come from the Greek Empire, man. So look, these are the ones in America, okay? What I'm showing you right here. This one here, these are America, right? This is the Greek temple. This is called Greek revival architecture in Rome, British, and America. In Rome, yeah, in Britain and America. And they say they start doing these buildings like this, what they say like in the 1800s, it say in America talking about. Look, this is in Rome, okay? Why is it called Greek revival? Because it is. North America is a revived Roman Empire. It really go all back to Greek, man. Look, Greek. You see this? So when Esau said we will return and build the desolate places, what are they talking about? They're talking about building. Listen, when you are architecting something, you got a style of building, how you build. You got a certain what they call it you got a signature. You got a signature style on how you build certain things, right? Look, look, British Museum. You see, 1753 AD established. You see that? You see? So these are this is what happened. When Esau said, we will return and build the desolate places, this is how they build, man. This is how they build. You see it? This is their signature style of building, man. Look at it. Monument influenced by Roman architecture. You see? British Museum. Come on, man. Nah. You see? You see this? Hold on. Let me come back to me. Let's get this one. Shalom to the argument I walk from Comment Board. Shalom. The water for tuning in. Yeah, how about Shema Shabbat Rocket Thumb? So look at this. Let's get this one. Now here is Petra, right? Look, this ain't no coincidence, man. You don't gotta believe it. But we see it. You see this? See the columns? You see that? Before they was ran into the caves, Esau had a certain way how they build it, man. And you can't say this is not North America, Babylon the Great. This ain't how it look in Britain. This ain't how it look in UK. Dealing with their buildings, man. When you go to these downtown areas, to the chief, what it is, the chief city like Basra. When you go to the chief cities of these countries, these states, this is how I look with the columns on the buildings, man. Come on, man. You see this? Is these not the same people? Why would it be mentioned? And you got to understand. That's why Apostle Boss say you got to have a vision, man. When you read these scriptures, why would it say in Malachi 4:1, Malachi 1:4, how it is read, man? Malachi 1:4 reads, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. What did Esau say? What do they teach? They teach that civilization started with who? With the Greeks, right? Let's go back to it. Civilization started with the Greeks. What was the Greek Empire? It was the beginning rulership of the so-called white man, right? Right. Come on, man. So in Daniel chapter 2, starting at verse 38, it reads, this is what Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar. Let's read up. This is Daniel 2 and 36. It reads, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, thou, O king, art a king of kings, for God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And whereas in Salakia, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. Listen, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior, talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, inferior to thee, and another kingdom of brass, which is the Greek Empire, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Right? Why do it say, listen, man, listen. What does it say in another kingdom, in another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth? You see how that sound? Listen to it. Why does it say this third kingdom is going to bear rule over all the earth? Because Job 9:24 say the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? So when it say which shall bear rule over all the earth, it's talking about Esau Edom. One of the blessing for Esau is he will have dominion on the earth. So what do? The Lord put the spirit on them to come back and rebuild every kingdom after the Greek Empire, man. It's beautiful, man. It say, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. This is talking about the Roman Empire, but their beginning rulership started with the Greeks. Why is this called Greek revival architecture, man? Why? Because we are living amongst the so-called Greeks, because we know the Greeks are the Japhetic people. But uh um Alexander the Greek conquered the Japhetic people and pushed them out of them lands, man. Right? So you see it, man. Greek revival architecture, man. Just like the Roman Empire, just like North America, man. You see? And when you go back, let's go back to the top. Because these are all images of Greek, Rome, and America in these images right here that you're seeing. So going back to the top, look what it started with. America images, man. The White House, right? Look, right here. Greek revival. This is in America. You see the flag? And then Jake tell my those are the Jeff Fetty people. Man, you people is crazy, man. These are the Edomites, man. These are the Edomites, man. You can't make this up. This is facts. So Esau said that he was going to return and build the desolate places. Now I want to get this, right? This is First Maccabees. Now, if you know anything about how they control their Senate, right? Presidents, their Senate House, all that, right? This is First Maccabees 8 and 15. It reads, moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate House wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people. Now, this is in the Greek Empire, right? This First Maccabees 8. This is in the Greek Empire. First Maccabees 8 and 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate House wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people to the end they might be well ordered. So you had this Senate House, verse 16 say, and that they committed their government to one man every year. Does that sound familiar? Here in North America, Babylon the Great is what? Every 4 years. At least he win a second term. It say, and that they committed the government to one man every year who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. So this is why you got the president when they try to pass a bill, all this, right? The president have to sign it, man. So that this is how the elites set up the system through what? The Greek Senate House, man, as it was in the Roman Empire, the Roman Senate House, right? Now you got um in the Greek Empire, in the Roman Empire, it was called what? It was called plebeians and patricians, right? Well, today it's called Democrats and Republicans. This is Revelation 13. If you people can't see that that this is the Greek Roman revised, North America is the Greek Roman revised empire, man. Something is wrong with you. This is Revelations 13 and 11. It reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. These two horns are the plebeians and patricians, today known as Democrats and Republicans, man. Right? You had allegedly, you got the Democrats fighting for the common folk, the common people, and the Republicans is fighting for them with their wealth. It always been like that, man. Now this is Isaiah 14 in verse 14. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me get this. Let me come back. Let me pull this up. Because when you go to, I was looking at this last night too. Link your knees together. When you go to Revelations 11, right? Let me get this. Read this again. Look. So about these five beasts, so about these five kings, these seven kings, right? It say, right? We know five are fallen, right? Five have fallen, one is, and the other has not yet come. This is so it's talking about refers to the five that have fallen refers to five world empires, which it don't. They talking about Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Medo, Persian, and Greece. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about Germania Major, Germania Minor, Romans, French, and the Spanish, right? And the one it said when it said the one is to come, it's saying one is right, which is the Roman Empire at that time, and it say and another has not yet come, which is Great Britain. It said when he come, he must continue a short time, right? Which was Great Britain. Then you had North America that came out of Great Britain. That's why I said even he is of the seventh, right? Which North America, Babylon the Great revives Roman Empire. So it say down here, it said the other has not yet come, refers to one world empire to come, a revival of the Roman Empire, right? So let me get this. Revelation 11. Oh, and also, as a matter of fact, before I leave out of Revelation 17, let me get this. When you go back up to Mystery Babylon, right? Now they said it's going to be one world empire and it's a revival Roman Empire. And that's what this guy David Guzik say, right? Let's get this. Also in Revelation 17, the word Babylon, right? Look what it say. That's why I'm going to Isaiah 14. So it say, what you know, Babylon is confusion, right? Look right here. You see, it say allegorically of Rome as the most corrupt seat of idolatry and the enemy of Christianity, which are the Hebrew Israelites. So we know allegorically of Rome as the most corrupted seat of idolatry. And that's why they said in Revelation 17, David Guzik said it's going to be one world power and it is a revived Roman Empire, man. So let's get this. I want to get Revelation 11, right? Let's get there. So here in Revelation 11, let's read this. It said, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, meaning the Lord was exiled here in Babylon the Great. We was never taught by Yahweh. We was never taught by Yahweh Shemawah. So when you go to this word Egypt, look what it say, man. Now this is what this guy, far as show you what he said far as the commentary. Because again, you can't make this up. So watch this. This is beautiful, man. So it say, look, it say Egypt double straits. And it is here. Babylon the Great, North America has been the worst captivity of ever. So it say, look, double straits, right? B, it say Jerusalem for the Jews persecuting the Hamashiach and his followers. Look what it say. And so to be liked to the Egyptians treating the Jews. You see that? So why I say in Revelation 11 and 8, that their bodies had lied in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Why is it called Egypt? Because of the harsh punishment, the cruelty of how we was treated for 430 years in Egypt, man. It's a double straits. And this captivity here is worse. Because Jake wasn't getting hung in Egypt, man. Okay? In Egypt, Jake wasn't getting burnt alive with the rods cut off of him. None of that. Right? It's a double straits. And so to be light to the Egyptians, treating the Jews. You see that? I just wanted to show that, man. So this place, man. This is we in double straits here, man. This is Isaiah. Now you go to this. Let me get it in the blue letter. You go to Isaiah 14 and 4. Get it in the blue letter. It's Isaiah 14:4. It say that thou should take up this parable against the king of Babylon and say, oppressor city, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Right? You go to this, you say Babylon, Babal, right? It say Babel of Babylon, confusion. It say Babel, Babel, the ancient site. So it say um, confusion, Babel. It said to mix, mingle, confuse, confound, right? To mix oneself, right? To mix oneself. Now, when you go to Daniel 2, it say it said to mix oneself, right? Confusion. This is the great melting pot, right? When you go to Daniel chapter 2, we go back to this, it say Daniel 2 and 39, it reads, this is the Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which is Greek Empire. And that's what Esau said. That's when civilization started with them, right? That's why it's called Greek revival architecture, man. It say, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Why this third kingdom bear rule over all the earth? Why not the second kingdom? Because it wasn't the Edomites. The Edomites had to come to play, and they was going to bear rule over all the earth. It say, in the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? Why? Because you got EU, NATO, Babylon the Great, right? They ain't on the same page, even though they Job 9 and 24s. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. Why? North America, Babylon the Great has the allegedly the greatest military, right? They have over 800 military bases around the world, man. More now, way more now. Okay, it say, for as much as thou sawest the iron mix with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet, that's where we at now. The statue, we at the toes of the statue now. We at the toes, which is the 10 toes, right? That's EU, right? With the toes and the feet. We at the feet and the toes of this statue, man. Them other kingdoms gone, right? Babylon, Medo-Persian Empire, the Greeks, the Romans, that's gone. So now we at the toes of the statue, which is the revived Roman Empire. EU, in that article, in Revelation 17, it said that EU EU started a thing, which we all know it's called the Treaty of Rome, man. Them reestablishing this whole thing. And I did a lesson on it a little while ago, and this guy David Rockefeller was a part of that, man. That Treaty of Rome. It's a and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. You see, who shall mix themselves with the seed of men? It's talking about Esau, Edom. He's going to mix himself with the other nations, man. That's why it's division. And even amongst Esau, it's division. We saw what happened with the French, the Spanish, and the British, right? They have always been separated, man. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, which is the other heathen nations, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with miry clay. This is that kingdom, man. It's a this is that kingdom, man. They ain't on the same page, right? What Esau did was make these other nations joined to them through the force of the sword, man. Now, another thing it mentions about this kingdom, this is Ezekiel 28. I'm gonna go back to Isaiah 14. It say, the word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thy heart, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. In the midst of what seas? The people. That's why I tell you in Revelation 17, right? She sitteth upon many waters. This harlot. It say, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. These devils have all the tech, man. You see, they have all the tech, man. What the scripture say, the children of this world are wiser than the children of light, man. Because of their tech, their satellites. The Lord gave, but that's the Lord that gave them this, man. That tech. So they can seem like they wiser. Because what the Lord trying to do, what the Lord has done is deceive these devils, making them think they got a chance of beating the angels in the chariots, man. When that war begins, man, that war in heaven. See, the Lord put a spirit in these devils that gave them a real pride heart, man. Gave them that tech to really make them think they can fight against Yahweh Shah and the angels, man. It say verse 4, with thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures, right? That's James 5 and 1, right? It say verse 5. This is the point I want to make. Because North America is allegedly, or it was, right, uh a real port here for all these different commodities, right? When you read in what is that? Revelation 18, right? All the different traffic. It say, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic has thy increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. It say because of thy traffic. What traffic? Right? America is the where it was. It's starting to collapse now. But it was that the city of ports, everything gets sold here. Let's get it. In Revelation 18, it tell you that. Let's read this. See, it say by thy traffic. Remember, Revelation 18 and 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. Why? For the traffic. For no man buyeth their merchandise any more, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all, and it said in all thyine wood, in all manners of vessels of ivory, in all manner of vessels of most precious wood. These Edomites, they love they marble countertops and they wood floors, right? It say in all manners of precious wood, in all brass and iron and marble. They love their marble top counters and all this, man. Right? And they cedar and hardwood, different hardwood floors. Yeah, man. It say and cinnamon and odors and ornaments and frankincense and wine. When you go to, you got a total wine down here. Man, they got bottles of wine now for $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, man. Me and the brother being total wine, like, man. You know they don't got no sulfites in it. $5,000 bottle of wine. We saw they had a bottle of Hennessy for $5,400, man. Who finna buy that, man? $5,400 for a bottle of Hennessy. $8,000 bottles of wine in this place called Total Wine. We just go in there and be like, man, look at this, man. This is how Esau living. It's say and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots. You see this? All the different cars sold over here, right? And it all, you got these foreign cars, right? You got BMWs and Lexuses and Benzes, right? Even Hondas is foreign cars, man. They all come over here. The cars enough, and as I said, is the car that's on in America is garbage, man. It's a and wheat and oil and fine flour and wheat, Salakia, and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses. You want to be a cattleman, right? Go get you some cows, right? Some ox. I saw Edomite one day driving. He had a trailer with two buffaloes on it. I'm like, where the hell this devil got that from, man? Got to be plugged in. Two buffaloes, a female and a male buffalo, man. But they killed all the buffaloes from Gad and Reuben. Millions. You can pull it up on Google. It show you a pile of bones of these buffalo that Esau killed, man, because that was the main source of Gad and Reuben. Gad using for make clothes, man, and food, man. But you got Edomites riding around with buffaloes on the back of their trucks, man, on a trailer, man. It's a and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men, because these devils have all of us as their slaves, man. Right? As it was at Baruch 3 and 8, you are yet this day subject to payments, man. It saying fruits that thy soul lusteth after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Right? It say the merchants of these things which were made rich by her, through what? Through thy traffic in Ezekiel 28, man. And the merchant of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. So this is that place, right? These poor, they say, and sin the loss of laws, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches had come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. Why are they talking about shipmasters, sailors, and them that trade by sea? Because North America is their port, man. This is that one place, man. Everything was sold here. That's why America was known as um what do they call it? The land of milk and honey, the land of the free, home of the brave. You can come here and be whatever you want to be, right? That's why all these nations come here and they get these heathens, they get these Hamites, let them come and get loans. The loans that we get, we can't ever pay back. They get these devils loans, these heathen nations, let them come over here and prosper and be whatever they want to be, man. This is Babylon the Great, man. North America is revived Roman Empire. So this is again Malachi 1 and 4. It say he talking about these devils. These devils. Let me get this again before I read this. These devils said, "We will return and build the desolate places," and they did. That's why this is called Greek revival architecture. You see it? Greek revival architecture, man. This is in America, man. This is in America. These old Greek, right here, Greek, same way in Rome, man. It's the same things. Ain't nothing new under the sun. As the scriptures say, there is nothing new under the sun, man. So you still got Jake talking about the Esau Edom is the Japhet people. You have lost. You are lost and through, man. These are them, man. You see it? Greek, Rome, look, Rome. Monuments influenced by Roman architecture. Why? Because of here. Let me go back up. Rome Museum, Greek Museum. Same thing, man. And as it show right here, you see this house? See this house? Look just like Petra, man. Look just like Petra. Hold on. Let's get it. Let's pull it back up. Let's get it one more time. It is right here. Petrol. All day. You tell me that house ain't look like this? You're a fool if you say otherwise. Come on, man. Hey, North America, Babylon the Great is a revised Roman Empire, man, which came from the Greek Empire. There's nothing new in the sun. Let's read it. Can't make this up, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It reads, the thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and power, Yahweh Shema Shah, required that which is past. So what we seeing is Greek Empire all over again, the Roman Empire all over again, man. And that's what these devils said this in Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. That's what they said. And they did, man. Look at America. Why do you think they make you learn Roman numerals in school, man? Ain't nothing new, man. It's not new, man. I don't know if they're teaching it now still about learning Roman numerals. It probably ain't because the earth has been, as I tell you in 2 Ezra 14, the earth is going to be weaker through age. They ain't doing the same thing they were doing when I was going to school. When we was going to school back in the early 80s and 90s, in the late 70s, early 70s, there ain't nothing going on now what was going on back then, man. Things have changed. Why? Because the Lord say wickedness is going to increase, right? And the earth shall be weaker through age, man, because of who's in rulership. Esau, Edom. Now, in Psalms 49 and 11, it reads, because these devils said they will return and build the desolate places. And they did. We are here in the Greek Roman revised empire, man. Psalms 49 and 11. The inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. And it did. After 1,000 years, the Greek Roman Empire came back as North America, Babylon the Great. It has continued, man. The inward thought, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They called their lands after their own names. Rome, this guy Romulus, one of these guys, Roman emperor, whatever he was, Romulus, they called it now their own names. Uh, America, after Amerigo Vespucci, that Italian map maker, right? Because Christopher Columbus never landed in no America, man. He landed in the islands, man. Okay, and you got this guy, which was this guy Amerigo Vespucci. He had a brother. Let me see. I think I had it too. His brother was named Leos Giphios Africanus, right? And they even show him in that movie, Gladiators. Africanus was in that movie. What's this guy name? I had it too, man. The brother of Amerigo Vespucci. Let me see. But Leos Giphios Africanus was the brother of Amerigo Vespucci. I'm sorry, Salakia. The guy Amerigo Leo Scipio Africanus, he had a brother. What his name? Who named Asia? Salakia. That's what I meant to say. I had it too. Maybe I deleted it. Um, Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Bear with me. See if I can pull it up. So it's a say Scipio Africanus was a Roman general and statesman, most noble. It's a let me click this. Let me pull this up real quick. It says Scipio Africanus the younger, also called Scipio Aemilianus, Latin Scipio Africanus Minor. It's the article tell you that he had a brother. His brother was named I just want to read it before I close out. But his brother was the one that named Asia. Let me see. I actually had the article too. I had it in my phone. I think I deleted it though. But anyway, yeah. So you can put it up on Google. It'll show you. I just don't want to dwell too long on this. But anyway, yeah. So this guy, Scipios Africanus, he was the one that named Africa, and his brother named Asia. Let me see. You know what? Matter of fact, let me type this in. Yeah, it'll take some time. I have to. It won't pull up. So anyway, oh, right here. It say oh, it just talks about how him and his brother, see how him and his brother crossed into Asia, but it don't got his name. And I had it too, man. I had it a while ago. I had the guy name, his brother name. But anyway, it tell you how him and his brother crossed into Asia. So these was Edomites, man. These are Edomites. They call their land after their own names. Yeah, it say Scipio Africanus, also called Scipio Africanus the Elder, Latin Scipio. He said together the brothers crossed to Asia. Something else it goes into. But anyway, yeah, I just want to make mention of that, man. So I'm gonna close Isaiah 14. It's Isaiah 14 and 4 again. It reads that thou should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. The Lord hath spoken, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. Because the Lord say in what is Second Thessalonians 8, it said, now he who letteth will elect, which is Yahweh Shema Shah. So it's the Lord that letting these devils do this. It say the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Why? Because this devil want to go down and say, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us. So fellow is somebody that chop down, that cut down trees. It say, and the cedars of Lebanon. And when you read in Habakkuk 2, it's a for the violence against Lebanon, right? To my Esau. It's a hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, to stir up the dead for it stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And that's why I tell you in Revelation 17 how all the kings of the earth committed fornication with Esau, man. And that's why I said in Jeremiah 51 and verse what was that? Jeremiah 51 and 8. All the kings of the it say, let's read this. It's Jeremiah 51. See, that's why it's showing you when it said in Daniel 2 that he shall mingle himself with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. Because these nations hate Babylon the Great, man. Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. You see? So that's why I said in Isaiah 14, it stirreth up all the chief ones of the earth, man, for this devil, man. Because this devil made all nations take on their philosophies, their policies, their legislation, their democracy, their draconian laws, right? Their draconian measures. Just like the Greek Empire, man, right? Just like the Greek Empire, man. Same thing. It said that Alexander conquered everybody, man. This first Maccabees 1 and 1. And it happened after Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of Persia and Medes, and that's in Daniel chapter 8. When he smitten Darius, king of Persia and Medes, that's in Daniel chapter 8, about Alexander the Greek, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Come on, man. And that's why Esau loved with they proud asses. Always talking about civilization started with the Greeks. No, your civilization started with the Greeks and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. Come on, man. This is talking about Esau, Edom, man. Yeah. So when they say we will return and build the desolate places, man, first and foremost, the Greek Empire, right? That's supposed to be the civilization of the Greeks, of the so-called white man, then the Roman Empire. So you see, this all links to these devils, man. This don't link to no Japhet, man. So let me close with this. I just want to make them points, man, which they have been made over and over by the apostles, by elder bishops, the elder brothers, younger brothers. But I had another lesson I was going to do. Listen to Elder Yashawamba. He been going in on this this guy vocab with Revelation 13 and 10, man. These guys talking about, man, they want to try to listen, man. Romans 13 and 10 is plain, man. It's plain. It says what it says, man. And Esau been living by the sword since he was blessed with it. So you can't change now. Now you find out. And of course it makes sense. Of course it makes sense because in Ecclesiastes, it makes sense. What they trying to buck. It make all the sense. Ecclesiastes 4:16 reads, there is no end of all the people. What they're trying to say the Edomites is done away with. Well, according to the Lord, and we don't believe you devils. We believe what the Lord say, man. No matter how much you try to justify whatever, man, the scriptures say otherwise, man. Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. The Lord never let us slay all of these devils, man. He always leave a remnant. It tell you when dealing with Solomon, right? It tell you that even with in the Second Chronicles 2, with Second Chronicles 25 with Amaziah, when they tell you that Amaziah and Judah took 10,000 of those Edomites and pushed them over the cliff, it tell you the story, man. It tell you that Hadad fled to Egypt, man. Right? It say Hadad and all of that was in his household. They fled to Egypt, man. The Lord never let every nation be destroyed, man. Especially dealing with Edom. The Lord said in Daniel 20 in Deuteronomy 25, right? And in man, listen, let's read this. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. And this is what vocab saying what he's saying. This is what James White saying what he's saying. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Why? Because they got to pay for what their forefathers did. So of course it makes sense for them to be done away with. The Lord said this. Let's read this. It's Exodus 17. You can't you can't get away from this judgment, man. You can't hide. This is your kingdom. Y'all been having generational wealth for the longest. Then you gonna say, "Oh no, that ain't I ain't with them." You is with them. You've been benefiting from generational wealth, right? You've been benefiting from Edomite privilege, right? Yeah, so-called white privilege. You've been benefiting from that. You've been benefiting from generational wealth. Now the Edomites done away with. Yeah, we gonna see this Exodus 17 and verse. Let me see. Exodus 17. I want to read the point. This is Exodus 17 and verse 16. The Lord say, "For he said, because the Lord have sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Right? In Deuteronomy 25, see the elder just went live. I'm about to close up. There's Deuteronomy 25 and 17. The Lord say, "Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy power have given thee the rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God have given thee for inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it." It say, "Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God have given thee rest from all thy enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek under heaven, thou shalt not forget it." We should not forget it. So until we get the kingdom of heaven on earth, Edom is not done away with. That's the Lord saying. They are going to be here until we go back into the kingdom and get rest. So in Ecclesiastes 4 and 16, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Why? Let's get this one. Why they not going to rejoice in their forefathers? Because of this. Job 27:13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive from the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring should not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. So of course it makes sense that they done away with. You see? So Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rikak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, ready concepted or not, and the sincere salutation to all the Akim. Pushing the truth and believing the truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. Shalom to that walk who are listening and learning. You few sisters who are listening and learning. Lord was edifying. So next time I say shalom. Walk about for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up.